Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. This is a happy anniversary gift for my boo. For you, for you, baby girl. This is going to be addressed to you, and it's going to be long, and it's going to be messy, but it's April now. It's actually still March 31st because I didn't sleep since past midnight last night, and I was just blowing past deadlines like crazy. I'm trying to get, like I said, well, maybe I've just been blowing past deadlines, but I said, okay, March is it. Whatever I've got, I'm going to give it to you, throw it up against the wall, throw spaghetti against the wall, and let it go, because I have to start working on your birthday present, which is going to be very much more organized. So everything goes toward world peace. You know that. That's your grown up Christmas list. So this is toward world peace. But before I get started on some really not nice stuff, I have to, like, for instance, well, let me tell you the first gift. It's very vague, but I was wavering. I was wavering a while when I was thinking, oh my God, is it? I used to say inevitable, sustained world peace. Inevitable world peace is inevitable. Sustained world peace is inevitable. It's going to happen no matter what I do, no matter what anybody does. And I've always had that positive outlook, but I was wavering on this a little bit. Like last February, I was thinking, oh my God, we do all this stuff and then we forget, and then all the bad influences come back, and is this going to be happening again in 200 years, or are we going to really learn and finally get stuff done this time around when we're at this precipice? But the good news is, it's from the work I've done in March, your gift anniversary from March 8th gift for this year is, yes, definitively, not wavering anymore on this. World peace is inevitable. Sustained world peace is inevitable. It's going to come, and probably sooner rather than later. And we don't have a choice. It's just going to come. So we don't have to do anything. Though it is fun to be involved. And now the number one priority again is still boo security, meaning all celeb security. Like every time I try to protect my boo, this year is going to be very turbulent. I'm protecting all celebrities. It's not another thing I like to do other than, my impeccable gaydar and pattern recognition and forensic whatever and rom-com lists. I have a lot of talents, a lot of things to do, a lot of things I like to do. But this year is all about boo security, and it's also about, world peace. And the two kind of converge, right? Are starting to converge, so that, the advice I give to celebs for good security is going to be the same thing that's also the best thing to do toward world peace. It's all kind of coming together into one thing. But so that's number one gift to you. It's just back to being positive about this, and I'll explain why. Is what I'm saying. I have the goods. I have the receipts for that, and that's coming up. Not quite yet, but as we go into what I'm covering next, I do talk about, it's not very nice what I have to talk about. Your gift isn't nice as far as, sometimes you got to get down and dirty when you're, doing world peace stuff, And I'm going to talk a lot about, I use the terms, gay Nazis. I use the term gay Nazi. I use the term infantophile a lot. The subject isn't very nice, but at the same time, I just have to get into it and be very specific about it. And I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, but before we do that, I just found something I always come across stuff and then I forget about it, and I just want to report this right now. It's kind of a gift. It's a gift in that uh, uh, in the lawsuit, which is another thing I like to do and gift toward you. I say, here, I'm going to file this lawsuit, which I would like to do anyway. And I say, it's your gift. But in the recent lawsuit against TMZ, there was, it's TMZ. It's this fake restraining order thing, right? But there's something, I'm trying to get the FBI involved, and I'm trying to make it easy on them and all this stuff. But one of the things is there was a filing that said, that said, let's just go to it. Anyway, there was actually, let's just do this real fast. Why not? Where is it? Okay, so I'm going to do this real fast just because it's fun what I came across. It's a positive thing, and I want to get this done because it's positive, and then the whole rest of the next 3 hours is going to be kind of ugly, baby girl. Okay, not ugly, it's good, it's boost security and it's other stuff that needs to get out. Okay, so there was a declaration filed on December 28th by a man named Jack Struble against me in the restraining order, the fake restraining order lawsuit, and it was filed December 28th, 2022, and in this lawsuit, this dude named Jack Struble, he files a declaration. You can get it online. The actual number online, if you go get it, is 0875, whatever. The number's right there. Go get it. It's just straight from the court. It's in the docket. So it's an official court filing by him, which makes it illegal if he purposely lies here. Not only illegal, but it brings in, the FBI could come in for the perjury on this. It is a federal offense, especially when they filed it electronically. It's a federal offense, what he did here. And this is so small. And it's like, so what? The guy lied here or whatever and all this shit. But it's just a little tiny, it's all you need to get federal jurisdiction, and it opens up this entire thing I'm about ready to, everything. The FBI can have complete jurisdiction over all this fraud, and it goes all the way up to Congress and Senator Adam Schiff and Altria and all the big guns I'm going after, trying to get the 16th Amendment taken down eventually. And this is all part of that. So it's just this tiny little lie and all this, but, come on, FBI, get involved. And I'm handing it to him on a silver platter as follows. So this guy, Jack Struble, he's saying he is an ex-LAP detective, homicide detective now, and he was hired on December 7th by your supposed attorney on this, Edward F. McPherson, on December 7th, 2022, to locate me. So he has my name. He says, I have her name, and he's trying to locate me to serve me notice of this lawsuit, this restraining order, on December 7th. Okay, so this is a declaration that he signed and filed with the court almost 3 weeks later on December 28th. And he's working, he says, I'm working, and he also says not only him, but his understanding that the threat management unit is also actively involved in this case. And they're trying to locate me to serve me this document, this restraining order, to make sure, because you can't legally, I need to be sure. Okay, so he knows my name. That's what he has so far. And then he says here that he mentions that I have worked every day, many hours per day, in order to locate and serve me. And he has a team, and we have so we have him, a team, and the threat management unit of LAPD working since December 7th for 3 weeks every day, for hours every day, until for 3 weeks straight, until the court hearing on December 28th, or whenever he filed this was the day before the court hearing. So he knows my name, and now they're trying to locate me. So they need especially an email address. So he has my phone number, but but this is what he says here. Okay, if they could find my email address, they're allowed to serve me by email. Okay, although I was able to determine her cell phone number, I was not able to determine her email address. Number 9, it's a purposeful lie. Okay, because the very next sentence he says, Miss Young has filed 90 lawsuits in the past 6 years, and if you look at any one of those 90 lawsuits, it has all my contact information, including an email address, my email address. Now, I always used to say, I've had that email address for over a decade. Come on, guys. And I would say, I've had that email address for over a decade, right? And today, and just to let's just go really quickly, just to show how quickly a lie this is. executed. Okay, so this is about this, and just for the FBI people, before I do this, let's just do this real fast, just to show what a big fat lie that is, including everything else. So I say, okay, he knows my name. It's Huguette Nicole Young, and this has been forever. And I like that one. Sometimes I just recently did this. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So in under 10 seconds, there's my email address. So this guy's saying that he took him and a team and the threat management for 3 weeks, hours and hours every day, couldn't find my email address. And I just found it in 10 seconds by Googling my name. And this shit's been here forever. Like, okay, so there's my email address. Okay, so he's obviously lying. All right, dear, and and in addition to, okay, never mind. So what happened was I said, I've had this email address for over 10 years. I've had this email address for over 10 years. I keep saying that, just throwing it out there, at least 10 years, blah, blah, blah. And then the other day, okay, bye, let's just get rid of this shit. So the other day, I said, I'm going to find out how long I've had this email address. And I went back, and the very first email I ever sent at this email address, I got this email address, I opened it up, was Thursday, March 28th, 2002. I've had this email address that these guys couldn't find, and it's the only one I've used. I do have some Gmail just to open up accounts on YouTube and stuff, but this is my primary email address for 24 years. FBI, go get that asshole and get him on perjury and get yourself on this case, because it's not just this little dippy guy. I want you to take down Altria and Adam Schiff and get the 16th Amendment taken down and all this shit going on, okay? So that's what I do. But while I'm here, baby girl, I just it was so cute because I just got through saying, one of the things I love to do is just comment online. And the very first thing I'm doing here, so keep in mind, and this is also in honor of Jamie Lee Curtis. And I've been watching every one of your episodes, by the way. I watch them every weekend. I do all 5 of them in a row, and I just love it. I love your show. It's just fantastic. I'm going to miss it. I'm glad you're getting out of there, and I'll tell you, and I'll show you a little bit later, a little more detailed why it's really time to get out of there. I just wish you would end it kind of right now, just for security. But your show is fantastic. You're fantastic at it. You're just going to be missed. I just wish we could be transported to 2 years from now, because the next 2 years are going to be very turbulent security-wise while things are being purged over there at Comcast and NBC, and it's just bad news. And I'm glad you're getting out of there, and I hope you make it to June without any security threats. But and if you like it, I hope, it's just too bad because you're really good at it. And if you like it, it's too bad you can't keep doing it. If you're burnt out on it, then that's good. It's time to go. But you're just really good, and I enjoy your show, is what I'm saying. So this is in honor of Jamie Lee Curtis. Keep in mind, because it talks about the Oscars. Okay, this is so let me put this in context. This is March in 2002. When I tried to do it on the anniversary too, on March 28th, and I blew that anniversary as well. I just forgot about this. But so March 28th, 2002, I had a 7-month-old baby girl, and I was 5 months pregnant for my son at this time. And yet, and I'm in San Francisco living with my gay baby daddy on Gough Street in this tiny little, it was just a fantastic time. But, and just taking care of the kids full time, but reading the San Francisco Chronicle, the actual Chronicle. There was nothing online here until every day I'm reading the actual physical San Francisco Chronicle. But I did get online and make an account to, guess what I did? To send a comment to Datebook at the San Francisco Chronicle, because I read something and I sent in this email. That was the first thing. I made the account to send in this email to the Chronicle after, and I just said, this is so beautiful that I read this. And the reason I'm reading this is because there's no swear words. I thought it was funny, and I loved it because it's Oscar season, so it has to do with Jamie Lee Curtis, who came on and said it was glitter season or something like that. It was just, she came on and she said, "Oh, it's glitter season," or she didn't call it she called it something. Oh, I forget what she called it. But I said, "Oh, this is glitter season." So this is in honor of Jamie Lee Curtis and the Oscar season, and it's only 2 weeks ago, and it's still March, so it's not too obsolete. But I'm going to read the whole comment. So this is just an indication of how long this is going to be. But this is pretty positive. I love it. Editor, and I like that it's me. This is what I do. This is like Whitney Cummings was saying. What are your talents? Like, if you're trying to do a podcast, what are your talents? And it's just like, I don't know if it's a talent. I just love reading shit and responding to it. And I'm not like and not just the movies. I like, and calling BS, and I just loved it. And this is what I was doing. This is my first email. It's hilarious. But anyway, it's 24 years in that, and the other. Okay, editor. The only thing more tiresome than a lengthy Oscar show are complaints about the length of the Oscar show afterward. I have to be more quiet. I'm getting excited. This is going to be a long video, and I hope I don't fall asleep. So let's just gather our energy. Editor, I have roommates. The only thing more tiresome than a lengthy Oscar show are complaints about the length of the Oscar show afterward. Quote, show wasn't good enough to last that long, March 25th article, and quote, fixing the Oscars show, March 26th articles I'm commenting on. Tim Goodman should take a cue from Whoopi Goldberg when she opened the Oscar show a few years ago by stating, paraphrased, quote, okay, we all know the show is going to be too long tonight, but it's our big night to celebrate, so deal with it. Here's why we need to review the Serenity Prayer and come to terms with the fact that an overly long Oscar show is something we can't change. Point number 1, Hollywood knows on which side its bread is buttered. Not spending time to acknowledge and thank all the little people on Oscar night would be the equivalent of not getting your secretary flowers on Secretary's Day. Anybody who belittles the contribution of a key grip the way Tim Goodman does has obviously never tried to make a movie with a disgruntled key grip. Because I took classes on being a key grip. That's why I got it. But he was putting him down. Like, don't do that. 2, do we really believe that shortening the Oscar show to 3 hours will make a difference in the ratings? Long is long, no matter how you slice it. So if it's 3 hours, it might as well be 3.5 hours. Point number 3, Hollywood usually cares a great deal about what Mr. and Mrs. Average Person from Iowa thinks. But this does not seem to be the case on Oscar night, which really is their night to celebrate. If we focused solely on the broader audience and left the editing of the Oscar show up to the likes of Tim Goodman, all we'd get are stale jokes about Hugh Grant still scoring. Parentheses, this was perhaps the most scripted joke of the entire evening, as head writer Bruce Balanche probably campaigned for months to get Hugh Grant to present the award for musical scoring just so Whoopi could deliver that line. It was a good line, but it was obviously a bit staged. While Mr. Goodman would likely edit out one of the funniest moments of the show, which was when Whoopi took a pretty good shot at CAA, Creative Artists Agency. How many people even know what CAA is? Even fewer people know why Whoopi and Valanche targeted CAA in particular, and not some other management agency. But who cares, says Whoopi in Hollywood. It's an inside joke, and part of the fun of watching the Oscars is trying to catch the inside jokes. Robert Redford summed it up best when he accepted his honorary Oscar. He said, everything about Oscar night, I presume this includes its length, would be forgotten in a few days to everybody except the people receiving the awards. Let them have their night and give us a break from age-old complaints that will change nothing. There I am. You get young, San Francisco, and that's baby daddy's landline phone number. My phone number is over a decade old too, but I don't think it's 24 years old like my email. So I love it. Let's just say goodbye to that, and let's get into this. Oh God, I've been avoiding this, but let's just dip into this. So when I redo this page, what's going to happen is what I learned is the overarching theme has been there's, for history, it's okay. I'm not stopping this and I'm not editing it, baby girls. So let's just get on with this. Oh, just get it out of your mouth. Get it out of your mouth. It's called forcible retraction. Forcible retraction. I can't even say it. Forcible retraction of the foreskin. Okay. I'm just going to say it and then maybe go on to other stuff. That's going to be the main focus of a new video I'm putting up. And it's also going to be the main focus of a lot of stuff going on here. But let's back up. Let's give it 5 minutes because I really do have a lot to do. I really have something unrelated to do before we do this. Just give me a second here. Okay. So I've been able to kind of rein in over big theories on the world history and world stuff going on. A couple of things are there's fundamental laws of peaceful self-governing, and the number one law of peaceful self-governing is no taxation without representation. It's a financial one, and what it says is unless that right is protected, the financial right, then no other rights can be protected. And there's in history been two different kinds of slavery. There's been slaves by humans over directly owning other humans, and there's also been governmental slavery, which has been the norm forever since the beginning of time. Not since the beginning of time, I'm sorry, since the gay mutation was introduced. Because what happened with the gay mutation is, I'm blaming this all on this mutation that came into being, and you had this species of men who had a different goal in life than non-gay men. And their goal in life, originally what I was saying was their main goal, and it still is to many of them, was they just wanted to have sex with non-gay men. They wanted the non-gay man to stick his penis up their anus. It was like a very specific, it's not like they want to stick their penis up other anuses. It's just a very specific, it's as if they're women on steroids with real strong sex drives, and their anus is their vagina, and they want that, especially non-gay men. That's who they love, that's who they want, that's who they lust after. And they try to break up the heterosexual couple because of this jealousy. And this is not the goal of non-gay men. They want to get along, they want to guide their family and raise a family and trade, and they don't want to conquer the world and have a bunch of money. I was saying there's something about the gay man who really wants to control everything. They want to control the non-gay man. They want to control the world so that they can, it's all has to do with being born gay. And that was a pretty good theory, and it's still in place. But there's something else that came up that's where I've gotten to the point where we need to take down, like right now, okay, so I came up with this theory. We need to take down the 16th Amendment, and then we'll have financial freedom and all this stuff for the first time in history. It happened for about 100 years when our original Constitution. And I'm also, because I do pattern recognition, I'm recognizing now, I'm going back using my forensic grammatic talents, and I'm mapping out 3 specific times in history where there was a revolt against this kind of government forced slavery, which has to do with a type of taxing. It's how you tax the people. And that happened 2 different times before now, and right now it's happening. And the thing that's happening right now is it's going to stick. It didn't stick in the past because the gay, what I call the gay men, there's gays, and then there's some gay Nazis who are not good gays. They're gays who just really went off, like, they're just off the charts as far as being control freaks, as far as, being angry, as far as being violent and this kind of thing. But, so I'm going to say Judas of Galilee during biblical times was one man who this happened to, where he was proposing, he was anti-tax, and he was anti the Roman tax, which they're doing it wrong. They're not collecting tax. They're collecting something called direct taxes, income taxes, which is not representation. That's not taxation. That is taxation without representation. It's called direct taxes, income taxes, and this is as opposed to a sales tax, a flat sales tax. It's as opposed to there are certain types of taxes, but he really fought against that, and the gay Nazis at the time came in, hung him, hijacked his whole movement and turned it into Christianity instead. That said, pay the taxes. It's just kind of like that's what happened in Christianity. So it's kind of a pattern where there's a lot of writings and there's a big movement, anti-tax movement, and the leader gets hung, killed, and his whole movement is hijacked or killed. And that's what happened. Now there's a guy named Judas Iscariot who's this big betrayer, and they made up this whole thing with Jesus and all this shit, and it's just covering over this tax guy who is trying to get world peace this way. It's the only way you can get world peace is if you have the financial freedom. And we've been government slaves up to that point as well. The Romans came close for a while, but eventually these civilized societies collapse. Oh, I thought I was going to talk for a few minutes. It doesn't matter. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So this is what's coming up later, is everything's coming together with my Bible work and my Dred Scott work and my modern work in justice reform and with Trump support, okay? Because there's a guy named Judas of Galilee that happened to, and then there's a guy named Roger B. Taney who wrote Dred Scott versus Sanford without the D case in 1857. Same thing happened. He's coming in, he's doing something that's going to lead toward abolishing slavery throughout the entire country. He did the steps for that, and then the gay Nazis came in. They completely killed the movement at the time, which was the best Supreme Court decision in history, and completely smeared his name for years, like 2,000 years for Judas of Galilee, and now over almost 200 years for Roger B. Taney. And I'm defending them right now. I'm going back and I'm calling bullshit on that, and it is complete bullshit. And now Trump is the same. He's the third one doing this. He's doing it. He's trying to take down the 16th Amendment. It's a tax thing again, and it's just a pattern. And I'm really going to do a fantastic job. It's not going to be all done. It's going to be the rest of my life, but it's a pattern from the Bible times to the Dred Scott case to now, and but this time it's not going to happen. They're not going to be able to kill his movement, kill the movement, and smear his name for 2,000 years. The opposite's going to happen. We're finally going to have sustained world peace. The gay Nazi constant lies and propaganda is getting way too expensive in history now. They cannot keep this up the way they were in the past. So it's over. And that's why I say that's part of the sustained world peace. But they could always come back and, but not from what I recently learned. So here's what I originally wrote. I would say gays are born gay. And my theory is they're born gay, which is half correct. Okay? But also what we do to decrease, to try to get our rights back on our economic rights, is we try to decrease the anger of the gay man that turns him into a gay Nazi. So we allow gay marriage, we accept gays, and through this process, we take away their anger, and we're able to live more in peace. That's half of it too. Okay, So I always thought, well, all the biggest, richest guys were all gay because they're driven more than non-gay dumbass morons. They just want a family and be able to support and protect and have a home, and they don't want to conquer the world and have all this money to be able to control everything, to control the non-gay man and to break up the. It's all very. It's a different set of goals for these guys, so they're not very peaceful that way, and they're a problem, is what they are. So we need to limit that problem. But something came up, and on my way to focusing on the family court swamp, that one of the things is I'm trying to end spanking of children, which is a gay Nazi kind of run thing. The gays push for spanking. They want to break up the mother-son bond. They want to break up the black family in particular, so they encourage black women. So that's where the most domestic violence occurs in the United States, is black women spanking their black sons. It's like a slave thing, and it's driven by gay Nazi propaganda. And the other thing was circumcision, which is deforming the male sex organ so that it's dysfunctional penis. It's a dysfunctional penis. And that's pushed by gay men. And I thought that was it. I thought, well, let's stop doing these things, but there's something more to it. There's a bigger drive out there than just a gay man trying to break up sex between, like, the circumcision was to make sure that there wasn't good sex between heterosexual couples. That was the theory. So we're going to make less angry gay men. And there's something worse going on. There's something worse. Because I thought, there's this practice that the Jews have where after circumcision, I forget all the names and everything, I'm not going to go through it here, but the whatever, there's a special adult that sucks the little baby's penis of the blood, and supposedly he spits it out. But I thought, oh my God, that is just I'm not buying that shit. That seems like an old ritual, and it seems like a sexual deviation. And I'm calling that an infantophile. It is specifically a gay man, because I don't think there's such a thing as a non-gay man who can be turned into an infantophile. But it's an infantophile who has this burning, like, drive worse than a gay man. There's a non-gay man has like a sexual drive to for sex with the woman or whatever. And then there's some sexual deviants who have it's an even bigger urge. And then there's gays who also have a bigger urge. But the most urge of all in history is a gay Nazi infantophile. And I say gay Nazi infantophile because there's no other kind of infantophile out there, I believe. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to study all this stuff. So the gay Nazi infantophile comes in, and he just has this tremendous urge to not just give oral sex to an infant male's penis. It's to cause pain and bleeding, and then on the penis, and then suck the penis that is bleeding. And it's kind of a ritual high. It's kind of like let me put the little boy in pain, and then he'll produce some kind of power. And now it's called adrenochrome and all this stuff or whatever it is. But you could see this in the Bible. You can see this as being kind of a ritual that is a sexual deviation that's been happening in all of history for a long time, and it's very easy to hide. So I thought, is this just the Jews doing this? Like, are you serious? Is like the Christians don't have infantophiles? So I Googled, I said, I don't believe that. Is there like a way to make a little infant's penis bleed without being detected, so that like a little priest trying to do baptism on the little baby or something, or whatever it is, little gay males coming around to offer to change diapers of little males, and they could just do something really quick to make the little penis bleed, and then they suck on it. And guess what? When I did a Google search for this, guess what came up? It's called forcible retraction of the foreskin. And I could not believe what I am finding out here. Just the fact that I am 60 years old, I had a non-circumcised son. His father was circumcised, so this is a part of the problem. Is so many males in the U.S., like way more than normal. Like 2% of the population is Jewish, and 90% of the males are circumcised in the U.S. And it's just an indication of how powerful this sickness is. It's a sickness that, so, okay, let's just talk about, I'm going to do this. I swear, I just swore I didn't want to do this for hours because I have an entire video on this. Okay, so just 2 minutes or less. There is a natural process where a male penis, I didn't even know this. Does anybody know this? Just the fact that this information is buried shows how powerful the gay Nazi infantophile. There's probably gay people who don't even know this. There's like normal gay men who don't know this either. But there's a natural phenomenon where the foreskin is attached to the glands, the ends of the penis, when a male is born, and it stays completely attached. And they're saying, it eventually becomes more elastic, and then it eventually you could pull it back away from the glands, the little tip of the penis. And they'll say the average age is 3 for this to happen. No, and then that was 10 years ago. And then they'll say, oh, the average age is 7. And then the average age keeps going higher and higher. And the average age, I'm pretty sure, is 10 or 11 just before they hit puberty, which is when they could start. They're old enough now to take care of their penis and not have the problems that they'll say, oh, you need to circumcise to keep them clean. No, Mother Nature has already done this to the penis. It is fully covered until the boy is 11, unless you do something called forcible retraction of the foreskin, which is very, very painful when that is done. So a boy is never going to do that to himself. Now, I've read that when the boy or the young tween reaches 11 and 12, that area like starts to itch more, and he'll like, and it's a natural thing. It's like a healing thing where when he plays with it more and more, it starts to become elastic, and the foreskin retracts on its own with the help of the boy playing with himself or whatever it is just before he goes into puberty. And the natural state of his foreskin at that point, when it's retracted, is it's very elastic and it's fine. But if he's had forcible retraction of his foreskin, which if it's done on the day he's born, it hurts like fuck. It hurts like hell. He'll scream, he'll bleed, but it will heal over. But then within a few days, when it's healed over, if you retract the foreskin again, forcibly retract it, it's twice as painful and twice as bleeding, because it's like ripping a scab. Right now, when it heals over, once forcible retraction happens and it heals over, it doesn't heal over quite as well. Like it's still a little bit, it's kind of scabby and there's adhesions. And then if you do it again, he's bleeding. It's even more painful, and it's doing it again. And if you keep doing that to the boy and sucking his blood when he's an infant, the foreskin becomes so inelastic that it causes all sorts of problems later, where by the time he's 7, 8, 9, he's begging for a circumcision, which is how the Muslim religion began. You have all these slaves who are Muslims. They don't have the gay gene. They're not gay, so it takes 1 or 2 infantophiles who come in, and they just completely molest the males before the age of 2, so that by the time they reach 8 and 9, they're begging for circumcision, because that's the only, and now there's a modern operation for that when that happens. When the foreskin is so elastic that it could almost squeeze it's dangerous. It could almost like make it, do real permanent damage to the tip of the penis when there's all sorts of things going on. But in the past, some of the first circumcisions weren't even full circumcisions. It was just a slit that allowed the foreskin to release the penis in this case. So that's where that circumcision comes from. This isn't a God-given anything. This is all gay Nazi infantophiles abusing the males, and they're still doing it. and it's a ritual where when you forcibly retract, there's blood, so they suck the little baby. And so this is the theory. Okay, this is the theory of what's going on. Gays are born gay, yes, but gays can also be made gay, very close to birth when they come out of the womb, by this kind of physical abuse to their penis, especially when it's done repeatedly, or especially when it's done and then a grown male sucks his penis right afterwards. You think the little baby doesn't know what's going on. The subconscious, something happens. And if it's a non-gay male, a baby boy born not non-gay, there are some that are born that way, yes. And they're nice gays. I mean, if that's all that happens to them, I believe those are the nice gays. I think all the mean gays, the gay Nazis, all the ephiles, like a pedophile, is probably a non-gay boy that this has happened to, and he becomes a pedophile. The infantophiles are definitely probably gay males, nice gay males that this has happened to, and they turn into infantophiles. The chances happen more. So there's a lot of sexual deviations that occur from this kind of sexual abuse that is rampant. It's rampant. And the good news is it's detectable, but it has to be in males that aren't circumcised. So there's a couple things going on with circumcision as a religion. What happened was it's a defense mechanism. You circumcise, if you're a slave, you circumcise the little baby so that he stops getting abused this way immediately. Okay, there's a sicker attitude, which is that the day the baby is born, by the way, the first step in circumcision in an 8-year-old baby is forcible retraction of the foreskin, which everybody knows is extremely painful, and it bleeds. And then they cut the foreskin, so it bleeds again. So this kid, and what happens with the Jewish religion and why it happens, possibly why it happens on the 8th day, is the sickest thing of all. It's so that the day the child is born, he can be molested in this way the first time the forcible retraction occurs. It's very painful, it produces blood, but not as much as 8 days later when the little penis has healed over, and just before they do the circumcision, they'll do a forcible retraction again, and this time it's twice as painful and twice as bleeding on purpose. And that's why circumcisions don't happen on the day they're born in the Jewish faith. It's so this fucking gay Nazi, sick but fucking gay Nazi infantophile. It's a very specific kind of sickness. And he was created this way. He was created this way, and it's coming back to abused kids. And they can do thousands of them in the old days. It happens so quickly. Or even modern day. What do you remember when kids were born and then they'd all be in a big nursery? You get a male nurse coming in at night. He can do 20 male babies this way. And the kid cries, and they get good at knowing how to make sure that they suck the blood so that there isn't much blood in the diaper, or it's very hard to detect. And out of all those babies, depending on the sucking and if they get a second chance a few days later, it increases their chances of having these sexual deviations. And if the kid is circumcised after that, there's no evidence of it. All right, we can't find any evidence of it. Whereas if this happens to a child, if this happens to a baby, and then baby's 8 years old, there's some evidence of it. There's more adhesions, and it doesn't retract. If it happens a lot, the kid's going to need to be circumcised as he gets older and his penis grows and he starts to mature. He's going to beg for a circumcision. It's going to be that painful. So that's where the Muslim circumcisions at 8 come from. Okay, so, oh my God, I didn't want to do this. Listen, baby girl, so, there's nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing you could do to stop it, really, until you... Okay, let me just do this one thing real fast. So I have to change my description, first of all, Because there are some gays that are born gay and some that are made gay, I believe, and not when they're 3 and 4 this happens. I think it has to be very close to birth, until the first few weeks that this happens, and then it could turn them gay. And it's a specific kind of gay, maybe it's not. Yeah, so you can be turned gay by environmental, is what I'm saying. But on the flip side, it's a good way to remember I said one way to stop the hatred of the gay Nazis, and the only way seems to be to accept them and blah blah blah. There's another way, and that's to stop this practice that's happening, and it's happening naturally because you have more baby monitors on kids for other reasons. You have in the hospital, and also this thing that I'm saying is you can detect it. You can detect who's been abused. For instance, in order for this thing to turn you gay, this practice on the little gay male, which is, by the way, the number one problem in all of society and all of the world up till now. Everybody keeps thinking it's and the pedophiles against little girls type of thing. That shit is dwarfed by this as far as problem solving. And it's distraction and everything. We need to focus 10,000% on stopping this practice. Okay? Not just stopping circumcision, which was used as a defense mechanism, or it just depends on how you look at it. The way it's done on the 8th day could be kind of sick in a way, because you get maximum pain and maximum turning them into gays. That's why you have more gays in Israel than in the United States. More Jewish men say they're gay in Israel, which is conservative, than in the United States. Why is that? Because there's more of this practice going on there, this weird baby blood sucking thing going on there. That's why there's more gays, twice as many. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff like that I'm going to go into, but just here's a gift to you, and you're not going to think about a baby girl, but just have little Remy checked. There's some doctors you can check for this. I'm not sure because most of them are circumcised, but they can check to see if he's been abused, and it's like almost 100. I hate telling you this. All you celebrities, there's almost 1,000% chance that your baby, if you were a celebrity and you had a baby boy, or even adopted one, before the adopted baby boy came to you, he had been molested in this way. So there's a chance. This probably, I'm not sure if celebrities have a higher rate of little gay boys or trans boys or whatever it is. It seems that way, and probably might be because they are a bigger target for being molested in this way if you had the child or adopted the child while you were a celebrity. Because it's also it's not just a ritual in the infantophiles, but it's a bragging rights. It's a thing where I sucked the baby dick, like it's a power thing. I sucked the baby dick of a celebrity. I sucked that little kid's dick, and then it gives them power and it gives them bragging rights. So they are highly sought after. And now I'm going to explain a lot more of this. But if you are a celebrity now and you have a little baby boy, there's almost 100% chance, and because it could happen so quickly, and it's undetectable. But if he's not circumcised, it can be detected, especially if he was abused a lot, because there's a difference. A good doctor examining the penis and how it's retracting or not, or whatever it is, can tell if there's adhesions. He could tell if there's been forcible retraction. He could tell if there's been a rape of your little baby boy. That's pretty much just a rape is what that is. He's been sexually abused when they do that. And read up about it, because there's some gay male nurses that do this to babies all the time. Keep the kid away from. I've always said this. I don't never understand freaking hospitals that hire male nurses at all, because they're killing machines, and now I'm finding out they're probably also doing this to babies all the time. This kind of shit. An entire ward of newborns get abused this way in a half an hour, where in not even a half an hour, and it's undetected. So this is a big major problem for all males, especially in the U.S., where everybody is circumcised, where it's very where they're abused like crazy, I believe. Okay, it's a problem. So the U.S. Army, which everywhere has its infantophiles, you can't tell who they are. Okay, so the way you stop this is information, and the only way you can get the correct information out is to take down the 16th Amendment. So the end result is, by the time I get done with all this, the safest way to do everything and the safest boost security and everything is to take down the 16th Amendment this year and within the next 2 years, because that dries out their money source, it dries out their everything, their power structures, everything. So that's why I'm going to redo this for the birthday, but that's why what I did, instead of your birthday, the actual, remember here I said, oh, I'm going to do this, and I didn't. I am working on that. That's almost done, and it will, because this is important too. But I stopped that, and instead I worked on the Great Dred Scott fraud, because after all this I just told you, and after everything I'm going to be working on from here on, because there is, remember I said, when you're doing the Great Dred Scott fraud, and when you're doing the Bible work, you have to know both the style and the intent of the fraudsters. And the intent, I used to say, was just gay men trying to get control over non-gay men, blah, blah, blah. No. The intent now is to gain access to little boy penises, because the infantophile, the gay Nazi infantophile drive is more than even just the gay Nazi drive, that the sexual drive. Their drive is so much that I believe, I would say Elon Musk, I would say every gay man that I'm calling are probably infantophiles who need all this money, because it costs a lot of money to gain access to celebrity babies and to all sorts of shit. They just cannot stop, and that's all they want. And you can see it in the Bible. It's like blood libel and all sorts of shit, and we're still eating the blood of Christ. And I mean, there's a blood thing, there's a ritual thing, and it's just sick. And we need to just, that's it, stop the circumcisions and stop this shit. But the way you stop it is we take away their money. But when I say the intent, I'm going through the Bible now, and the intent is, yes, to gain power and make slaves and gain money, but the intent behind that is this drive to have access to as many little baby penises to do this to as possible. That's the intent. So I'm changing a lot of stuff, not a lot. The framework is still there, but it's the last puzzle piece that I'm doing to relate the Bible work to the Dred Scott case to current, what we're fighting now, and not just gay Nazis who want to, keep circumcision alive and spankings alive. It's gay Nazis who will fucking pay $100 million for access to, I'm going to get into that right now. So I'm coming up right now, baby girl, and I'm going to I'm just going to read something I've been writing, and it's going to be your gift, but I talk about gay Nazi infantophiles versus gay Nazis. There is a difference. But I don't talk about the blood. I say they'll molest them. I was just very mealy-mouthed because I haven't gotten to the video yet that describes forcible retraction of the foreskin. I'm going to have a whole video and a whole thing on that, and it's huge. And the redheaded part, too, comes into that. How they lust after, especially the redheaded, blue-eyed infant, and how this is related to Epstein Island. It's just, it relates to a lot of shit. And cloning, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to be related now. And celebrity, especially celebrity security and boost security. And so, but in the end, even after I go through all this, the boost security does converge onto, you have to focus on the Great Dred Scott fraud. Okay, this is it. So this video is the most important. I'm going to redo this entire, I'm going to redo my entire website a little bit. I need to, do some stuff, but this is going to remain at the very top. This Great Dred Scott fraud and this video that I did that sort of streamlined everything. So, yes, I know I've been mealy-mouthed in the past, not mealy-mouthed, but I've had kind of an attitude in the past. Let me go over the attitude. Well, I'll do that at the end. We'll do the attitude where I'm like, Let me just do it right now. Let me just do this right now before I, just to show you how my attitude has changed. Here's my other gift to you. So, this is from December 18th. It's a
Hello, everybody.
cover. It's how celebrities can best protect themselves. So it's boost security. But I also say, even after all this, I'll say, like, I made the point that my name, once they get me in jail this time, what is it? Oh, here it is. Okay.
If you don't hear from me again, take down the 16th Amendment. That's all. Okay? And okay, so that's the gist of everything I'm doing. Let's do that. That's the first thing that needs to go. Vote Trump if you want to do that the fastest and easiest, because that's what he's been doing too for 20 or 30 years. He's been kind of preparing for this role right now, and me too. So let's just get on.
Okay, so I'm citing this because this was over 3 years ago, and I'm sticking with that. If I die today or something happens, don't worry about any of this other shit. Take down the 16th Amendment. Okay, but I also had this attitude that was like, okay, if you don't hear from me, here's the bad part of that. I say, just take down the 16th Amendment, and then I had this attitude that went like this. What?
We're in war. I don't have time to go through and spoon feed you. You're just gonna have to read what I've been doing online. If you can find anything, I'm just available everywhere. Okay, I don't know what else to tell you. So I'll probably be in jail by this time next week. So this is just letting you know. And if not, then we'll.
Okay, so that's an attitude that I also had. It's an attitude that's changed. It's like, yeah, just go find it, whatever, if you're interested. I'm too busy. But I had the same attitude. Hello, it is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. This is a do not poop. Hold on. So, here's another.
They're not allowed to overturn.
Okay, so here's another attitude, and I just want to get these out because I need to close these down.
Better be on file, but I have it in paper on most of it. But the court system itself must file it, I guess, somewhere. So go find it. That's something I'm not going to do. I just did this because I generated some data that somebody else might find interesting or should find interesting. I might later, but that's enough of this. I went out, I chased down the dragon, slayed the dragon, dragged it back to the cave, cooked it up, and now here we are with the people looking at it going, oh, can you chew it for me and spit it down my throat like a mama bird? And I'm not, that's just, no, I don't have time to do that to all these things. So come and get it. If you want it, come and get it.
So that attitude is out the window a little bit. Yes, you can come and get it, but I'm not going to say, just take down the 16th Amendment and then go find it. And then you come to my website, and did you see that? It's like the Music of the Night Media Swamp Stock tutorial. You see this one, even part X, 4 hours long. What the fuck? Like, yes. In 50 years, everything I've written, I'm not going to change any of it. All the lawsuits I've filed is just going to be crystal clear. Like, of course, what do you have to describe this for? But for now, and then the other end of the spectrum, I'm taking hours to describe this stuff, and I'm umming and ahhing and throwing spaghetti against the wall, this kind of shit. No, okay, we have to find a happy medium right now, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to take everything and cut everything down and streamline it a little bit better. So I'm changing that attitude is what I'm saying. I'm saying, oh, I got the dragon. I'm just having a little pity party there. That's what I'm saying. That attitude has changed, and the change in attitude is also your anniversary present. Okay, and the change of attitude, so let's take that down. So the change of attitude is, as I'm doing this, there's the change of attitude. I took happily, I'm going to do that with the Bible work too, by the way, and I'm going to do it with all these areas, and I'm going to be a little more but one thing I'm not going to change is my kind of swearing. It's just going to have to stay because there are gay Nazis and there are gay Nazi infantophiles, and I still say I still have to swear against some of this shit going on. I just can't I can't do it. I don't know what it is. It just feels better, and there's a certain language I'm using that I might be able to be mealy-mouthed later, but when I specifically start saying the gay Nazi infantophile, you better know that I'm not, that's that it could be worse. I could be saying bloody dick sucking whatever. Bloody dick, baby dick is what I was saying before. So infantophile is a very specific thing. It's not just they're just lightly giving oral sex to a little baby, so it doesn't make any difference. No, they're purposely making him go through pain and bleed and then sucking the penis, and this is very traumatic. This is like the cause of. I mean, if we're going to take a step toward, and this is going to end, so this is going to go big way. This is why there's going to be sustained, and it's inevitable world peace, because I cannot see this. This is unattainable to keep up this shit. As long as there's information flowing, as long as I could finally look up something on Google and this finally pops up after 60 years of my life and after I have a son that I had no idea. I mean, I was the only one who changed his diaper ever, and at the same time, it would take 2 seconds for somebody, even a doctor or anything, even at birth. Nope. I think from birth he was on my chest. I don't think I ever left sight of that baby. So not in the hospital, and that's happening less and less now too. To all sorts of, and then also baby monitors, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening, and then they're going to be detected. So this is going to happen. So anyway, I just wanted to show that before I head into the next area, which is I want you to take it seriously in the next area, because it just sounds like I just keep swearing and it just gets very boring. You fucking gay Nazi infantophiles at NBC Universal. No, this is very serious what I'm saying, and they are very motivated to pay high amount of money to go after certain celebrity babies. Okay, so take this next part seriously. I think I've said everything I wanted to say about this stuff. It's coming up, and it's still March 31st because I haven't slept. I have to go to work tonight, but I might be able to get this done in sleep. And let me just let's just do this. So we're gonna say let's just start with oh my God, Google has been fantastic. For the record, Grok is excellent for helping me do my lawsuit stuff, but Google AI has been surprisingly, absolutely brilliant, non-judgmental, and just fact-based at helping me do my Bible work. Oh my God, Google AI, everybody, is fantastic. So the various AIs will also start to, I mean, it's all over for the world peace is inevitable, baby girl. Just hang in there. Let's just try to keep you alive. Okay, so we're going to do this. Hold on. Let's do this. So this is going to take a while. It's going to take about 3 or 4 hours to go through this. Okay, so here we go. What did I do? Nope, I am taking notes on all your videos. You're doing fantastic. Okay, here we go. Without much further ado. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of this one. Okay, here we go. Let's see how this goes. I'm sorry about this. This is going to be another 2 or 3 hours from here. But at least it's a little bit organized, okay? So, already, look at me, already. I posted at, shit. It was a very bad way to start, but I did a post on the way I do almost every week, because Whitney Cummings has that effect on me. It's become my San Francisco Chronicle. She's become my San Francisco Chronicle. Well, she'll say stuff, and I feel motivated to comment. But what she did was did a podcast and talked about her blue hair days. She talked about her blue hair days. Okay, and what I commented was, I said this.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go to Riverside
They're really
and
pushing-
open an account. When you're ready to record, just hit rec.
They just have a lot of advertising for this. But on her latest podcast from 2 days ago, I said, I reposted this, but I said, I remember, she would say, oh, my blue hair days. And I said, no, I remember you coming on the Kelly Clarkson show during the colored hair phase. And you killed it when everybody needed it. Was that the time that Ed Asner, the age-old 9/11 truther from way back he is, fell head over heels in love with you? Probably because he sensed a fellow truth seeker. So they killed him? And I have a question mark. Assholes. And then I cited and then I did go to the, oh no.
I'm here with Ed Asner and Whitney Cummings.
It was from, okay, so yeah, it was that time. And I said they killed him. So they killed him because he's a truth seeker. But, okay, so then I went back and I said, let me elaborate on that. It just seemed kind of like, oh, so they killed him and I left it. So I went on, and it's literally going to be 2 hours of me explaining that. And I couldn't post it at her thing. I couldn't post it on the Kelly Clarkson thing. It just had too much infantophile, and it had too much shit, and I didn't want to edit it anymore. I tried, you guys. So it's not going to be posted anywhere. But I am going to read it right now. So goodbye, Ed Asner. Goodbye. Goodbye. And we're going to read it, and I have all the receipts for it. Okay? So here we go. So I tried to post this, and I'm not. So this is, pretend like this is a post after that one. I'm going to say, by the way, when I say they murdered Ed Asner, I mean gay Nazi infantophiles. Okay? It's a very serious, violent person who sucks little bloody baby dicks. He goes out, okay? It just takes one to do 1,000 little baby dicks, okay? It doesn't take a lot. So you could see how this could easily be something that's been going on for millennia, undetected until now. I mean, gay Nazi infantophiles at NBC, Universal, Comcast, Warner Brothers Studios, who have murdered several celebs associated with The Ellen Show. In other words, gay Nazi infantophiles central, with closeted gay, red-headed producer Andy Shaw acting as a baby pimp for gay Nazi infantophiles who were paying big money behind the scenes for access to male infants coming on set regularly as guests or as guests of the show, or as babies of celebrity guests, or as babies of co-workers at the show, especially red-headed, blue-eyed babies. Okay? And the Kelly Clarkson Show, parentheses, where baby pimp Andy Shaw moved after the Ellen Show imploded from so much toxic drama going on among gay Nazi infantophiles behind the scenes, fighting over who gets access to the next baby penis on set and at what price. All right, this is how the murders went down in chronological order. In September 2020, Kelly Clarkson covers popular sitcom theme songs for the season 2 opener of The Kelly Clarkson Show, featuring the theme songs for Cheers, The Golden Girls, Full House, and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Bob Saget, known for having to beat Hollywood pedophiles away with a stick who were lusting after the Olsen twins during the filming of Full House, is featured interacting with Kelly hilariously during this opening sequence, which it was. While Ed Asner, a known 9/11 truther who also probably knew a thing or two about Hollywood pedophiles and infantophiles, is featured as a guest in the audience, appearing by video. And I cite that video. I'm going to show you those. I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to show you a couple of pictures in a minute. Okay? In October 2020, Ed Asner appears as a guest in person on The Kelly Clarkson Show in an episode that also features major pedophile hunter and fellow truth seeker Whitney Cummings. I have the video for that. It would have been linkable if it were in a comment. This, I don't know why this wouldn't go up, because I don't say, well, we'll see. I didn't say like, well, we'll see. Maybe baby penis? In May 2021, it is announced that the heavily tobacco swamp supported The Ellen Show would be ending a year later, and that the Kelly Clarkson Show would be taking over the coveted time slot for The Ellen Show in the fall of 2022. Closeted gay, red-headed, blue-eyed, tobacco-supported baby pimp Andy Shaw, who was smack in the middle of The Ellen Show tobacco swamp gay Nazi infantophile implosion, was immediately moved that May from The Ellen Show to the Kelly Clarkson Show, despite a year left of filming to do was immediately moved that May from The Ellen Show to the Kelly Clarkson Show, despite a year left of filming to do for the last season of The Ellen Show. This was done so that baby pimp and favorite boy toy for upper level TV execs at NBC Universal, they love redheaded, even grown, not even the infantophiles love them, but also the gay Nazis who aren't infantophiles just love redheaded, blue-eyed men. This was done so that you know that Andy is a favorite boy toy for gay execs at NBC Universal. So this was done so that baby pimp and favorite boy toy for upper level TV execs at NBC Universal, Andy Shaw, could be shielded from the Ellen Show fallout and could continue his job gaining access to male infants that might show up on the set for the Kelly Clarkson Show. Since this highly lucrative practice of pimping out male infants to the highest bidding gay Nazi infantophiles was no longer allowed to take place at the Ellen Show, after many good people blew the whistle on the whole gay Nazi infantophile operation, and paid for it with their careers, unfortunately, and some with their lives, as described below. So, in August of 2021, Ed Asner from The Mary Tyler Moore Show is murdered. In December 2021, Betty White from The Golden Girls is murdered. In January 2022, Bob Saget from Full House is murdered. Immediately after Bob Saget is murdered, I post a "Do not poo-poo this" security alert from my H. Nicole Young 3 Twitter account, stating that Ted Danson, star of Cheers, is in grave danger because the quote-unquote butt-fucking pieces of gay Nazi asshole tobacco swamp shit at NBC Universal, unquote, I hadn't made the infantophile connection yet, were murdering off TV stars associated with the Kelly Clarkson Show Season 2 opener. In other words, Ed Asner associated with the Mary Tyler Moore theme song, Betty White associated with the Golden Girls theme song, and Bob Saget associated with the Full House theme song. And the theme song for Cheers, which Ted Danson starred in, was the only one left from the opening sequence that was not associated with a murder. This seemed to stave off the Kelly Clarkson Show murders for a while, but the gay Nazi tobacco and infantophile assholes at NBC Universal nevertheless completed the task, albeit delayed and with a change in targets, when, on December 5th, 2022, Kirstie Alley from Cheers, instead of Ted Danson, is murdered. Other significant tobacco swamp murderers that were probably also associated with infantophile pedophile family swamp, with the infantophile pedophile and family swamp, though I did not recognize it at the time. It's going to be discussed more in the next video. Happened between Bob Saget's murder in January of 2022 and Kirstie Alley's murder in December of 2022 as follows. So, I did this "do not poo-poo this." They didn't murder any more Kelly Clarkson theme songs for at least another 11 months, and then they got Kirstie Alley. But during that time, from January to December 2022, they did some other shit. It's almost like I pushed them away from these people, and then they went to other people. It's like, that's why I said just take down the 16th Amendment, because it's hard. You can't stop them on your own. You really can't. Okay, worse than vampires to stop people. Seriously, if you want security, okay, let's just go on. In May of 2022, The Ellen Show airs its last episode. On August 8th, 2022, Olivia Newton-John is murdered, and I state 2 days later in a YouTube video on August 10th, 2022, that Olivia Newton-John was murdered by desperately imploding tobacco swamp assholes. Right here. Okay? And This video is removed by YouTube within hours, and my YouTube account is suspended for a week. The next day, on August 11th, 2022, Anne Heche, probably knew all about the powerful infantophile ring working out of the Ellen Show, is also murdered by the gay Nazi tobacco infantophile swamp assholes at NBC Universal. A few days after that, on August 15th, 2022, after I used my Twitter account, hnicoleyoung3, which I'd had for 8 years, to call out, quote, the butt-fucking pieces of gay Nazi asshole tobacco swamp shit, unquote, at YouTube for being complicit in the murders of both Olivia Newton-John and Anne Heche. My hnicoleyoung3 Twitter account is permanently suspended. I don't have those tweets because it's permanently suspended, and I can't get to those final tweets that got it suspended. They don't show it. If I go on now, it says your account is suspended, and I can't see tweets. And I don't see those last tweets. I see tweets from a year before that or something. I don't know. They don't have. They've been deleted. On December 13th, 2022, Stephen Twitch Boss, who also probably knew all about the powerful infantophile ring at the Ellen Show, is likewise murdered by the gay Nazi tobacco infantophile swamp assholes at NBC Universal. A week later, on December 18th, 2022, and on December 19th, 2022, I record 2 videos 2 days in a row, though I am not able to post them until December 23rd, 2022, due to my YouTube account being suspended at the time. In the first video, I say, among other things, that all celeb deaths over the last 2 years, including Twitch and even Betty White, whom nobody suspected as being murdered due to her age, are all assumed by me to be gay Nazi swamp-driven murders. I give some general advice to celebrities on how to avoid being murdered, but I ultimately conclude that the best way forward, no matter what happens, even to me, is to focus on striking down the 16th Amendment at time marker 416. And I just played that for you. So that whole video I'm talking about, how you could best protect yourself, it has to do mostly with, trying to keep gay Nazis out of your inner circle. For now, not gay Nazis, all gays. Because you can't tell. You don't know who's an infantophile now. You don't know who's whatever. So anyway, that's hard to do, guys. So in the second video, I say, among other things, that Kobe Bryant, who was also on the Kelly Clarkson Show in late 2019 to promote a children's book a couple of months before he was murdered in January of 2020, was murdered by the same tobacco swamp assholes at NBC Universal who were murdering all these other celebrities associated with the Ellen Show and the Kelly Clarkson Show, this time just so Tobacco Swamp supported Jimmy Kimmel at Disney could do the eulogy for Kobe with millions of people watching and get enough political clout and traction to bash Trump, who was working to take down the 16th Amendment all year ahead of the 2020 election. He's going to bash Trump all year. It was in January. He had all year to bash him ahead of the election. It's the whole reason why they killed Kobe. On December 23rd, 2022, when my YouTube suspension is lifted, I post the December 18th, the December 19th videos, along with 7 others I had created while on suspension. And within hours, YouTube removes the video I had recorded on December 19th, where I talk about Kobe's murderers, and YouTube suspends my account for 2 weeks. On January 16th, I repost the offensive video exposing Kobe Bryant's murderers by way of reading the video transcript into a new video. As this had worked in the past, I call it Nicole Reads Her YouTube Comments, and it worked in the past to expose as this had worked in the past to expose the hypocrisy of YouTube moderators. It really did. The next day, on January 17th, 2023, my YouTube channel is permanently deplatformed. A week later, I am falsely arrested with a fake restraining order that butt-fucking pieces of gay Nazi asshole infantophile pedophile family court swamp shit Harvey Levin and his creepy gay Nazi asshole infantophile cronies at TMZ pulled out of their smelly buttholes. I'm just poking the bear. I'm just gonna keep saying that. I don't care. I could take that out, but I'm just fucking so pissed. I spent the next 6.5 months falsely imprisoned in jail. parentheses, but not to worry, I single-handedly dismantled the religion swamp during this time with some insightful Bible work that I probably never would have done had I not been stuck in jail, all bored without the internet. So it's okay, people, no frets. It was all a part of some grand plan, I am assuming. I'm still having the existential crisis, but not as much. I'm no longer, I'll get to that later. It's okay. I just really am into this truth thing, and especially once I finish this last thing with I'm all done now. I'm spending the rest of my life filling in stuff and going back into the Bible, and I have the full skeleton now in place of world history and the patterns, and now it's just a matter of just having a blast watching this stuff. Not my stuff, but the whole watching forcible retraction of the foreskin become more and more in the mainstream, more and more focused on as being the primary cause of so many problems, and to put an end to the male rape and abuse. Try to get, and you too, Whitney Cummings, all you guys, get your sons checked. If they're not circumcised, get them checked. Get them checked, because there's evidence there that they've been abused, and then we can get into this mode of how to help them while they're young to not turn into. I mean, if it turned them gay, they were already turned gay the moment their little penises were sucked when they were 2 days old, a week old infants. Okay, they're already gay, but to not make them angry and to help them through it, whatever it is. And if they're not gay, help them get through puberty without having to be circumcised. Or there's certain things you can do to help the abused penis to become the foreskin to become more flexible, and it will never be what it could be. They will never be at their maximum sexual function ever after being raped like that. And that's, I'm going to say, 95% of all males. They've either been circumcised, or if they're not circumcised, they do not have a natural, just a naturally formed penis where the foreskin just came naturally away from the glands on the end at the age of 11, without being. There's very rare. I'm going to say less than 5% of adult males have that. And that's sad as freak, people. We can do so much better. So imagine when we stop that shit, in addition to the financial freedom, in addition to all this, it's just, world peace is so inevitable, it's not even funny. And it's like, anyway. So anyway, on October 28th, so I'm going way ahead, but on October, I'm just trying to finish this part of it. Okay. On October 28th, 2023, in what I take as an extension of The Kelly Clarkson Show TV sitcom murders that happened in 2021 and 2022, Matthew Perry from Friends, another TV sitcom, is murdered just 3 days before a pre-recorded appearance on The Kelly Clarkson Show by his stepfather, Keith Morrison. By his stepfather, I don't know where I'm going to publish this, by his stepfather, Keith Morrison. On October 28th, 2023, in what I take as an extension of The Kelly Clarkson Show TV sitcom murders that happened in 2021 and 2022, Matthew Perry from Friends is murdered just 3 days before a pre-recorded appearance on The Kelly Clarkson Show by his stepfather, Keith Morrison, airs on October 31st, 2023, to promote a new podcast about true crime. So I had this separated into two separate posts because it was more than 10, it was too long. So before I get to the next section, which we fast forward 2 years after that, it's very important. I'm going to go through and do and show you what I just got through reading. So this was the said season 2 opener. This was great. I just love you. So good. It was so good, baby girl. And you had Bob Saget there, and it's so sad seeing him now. But so Bob Saget was there, and you sang those 4 theme songs I said, which was Golden Girls, Full House. Oh my God. It was everything you got. It was Cheers. It was Cheers, Full House, the Tyler Moore Show, whatever. You know, I'll show you what they are now. I'll show you right now. So this was you when you walked in with Bob Saget and you started to sing the Mary Tyler Moore Show theme. And there's Ed Asner. He showed up in that episode by video. There were other stars there. There were a bunch of other TV sitcom stars there. That was great. And then I also mentioned a month later, Ed Asner is back on the show, this time live with Whitney Cummings, a new muse of mine, and Kelly and her eye patch. I just love all these episodes. That was fantastic. I wish I had the part where she's like, Kelly, you could go home now. And Ed Asner fell absolutely in love with her. He wanted to come see her at her shows. So that's why I said he wanted to come see you at your shows, so they killed him. He was really attracted to Whitney, as all truth tellers are. She was so good at that one. So now Ed Asner, the Mary Tyler Moore Show theme, Murdered August. He was the first one. Betty White. Oh, the Golden Girls. Another one of the 4 themes. Murdered a few months later. 5 months later on December 31st. And then less than a couple weeks later, not even a week later, or a week and a half later, Bob Saget from Full House, the third theme that Kelly sang. So I put out a Do Not Poo Poo This. I said they're after Ted Danson's next. It's following a pattern, and nothing happens until December, and they don't kill Ted Danson. They kill Kirstie Alley. Murdered. So now, as I said, I'm assuming every celebrity in the last, I'm going to go all the way back to, I'm going to go like just every celebrity, every politician, everybody that's murdered in the last 100 years, I'm going to say. I mean, you just got to assume it's a murder and then work from there. But they're running out of money. They're desperate. You know, I already talked about that a little bit. I said celebrities should be scared. So okay, well, let's just do it. So, then I said some other things happened between January and December, and one of them was the murder of Olivia Newton-John, and this is me 2 days later. She was murdered on August 8th, and this is me on August 10th. I gotta turn this up, guys. I have like a lot of construction guys outside, so let's just turn this up.
To sing this, and it cheers me up so much, but it's also sad because now I am convinced that Olivia Newton-John, who sang in Grease, which was a major tobacco ad for the longest time, like bigger than probably Ironic by Alanis Morissette, and possibly even bigger than ex-President Barack Obama smoking cigarettes, possibly bigger than Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, these big cigarette ads. So it could have been one of the biggest cigarette ads, and it's biggest because it targets women, which the tobacco industry loves. And it was just one of the coolest scenes. And I at the beginning of the week I wasn't sure, but now I'm almost convinced, almost 100%, that Olivia Newton-John was actually murdered. And I know, because the tobacco industry and tobacco swamp, I call it, I believe is really desperate this week for all sorts of weird stuff going on. I predicted it a little bit last week. I said it's just really choppy and weird and all sorts of weird stuff's going on. In a good way. I think the swamps are falling down a lot, which is good, but I think they're taking a lot of people with them, and I think they took Olivia with them just to have smoking ads. Like everywhere, all over the news was Olivia Newton-John smoking cigarettes from Greece. That's all I saw this week, and they just killed her for that reason. And because it seemed so obvious because she had cancer for the longest time, so nobody's going to question it. But I'm sorry, I'm saying that right now. Okay, another thing that happened this week.
Okay, so we're going to say bye to that. And then what else? What happened next? Oh, so that right there was that video was removed, and I was suspended They called it medical misinformation, and they removed it and suspended me for a week. Because I also talked a little bit about, but it was obviously not that. They've already apologized for that since and said no, it isn't, because I already have like a whole thing on this, and the reason I do that lawsuit and I'm trying to attract the FBI into just this little lie that Jack Struble, it's like, oh, it's just this tiny little lie that he couldn't find my email. Once their foot is in the door, I am suing, like, I'm suing YouTube, Twitter, blah, 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 Altria, Pfizer, everybody, and I'm after the relationship between, I'm after the relationship between Altria and members of Congress, and Pfizer and members of Congress that cause all these problems, that run all the media, that whatever, blah, 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 that is making it harder for Trump to go against Congress to take down the 60th Amendment. So it's not, I'm not just trying to, oh, I want to win this lawsuit because it's blah, 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 or I want to go after this little guy at YouTube who did this. I want to go after this little guy at Twitter who did this. No, I want to ask those little people who were telling them, and then ask that person who was telling them, and eventually get up to Senator Adam Schiff and Altria and whatever. That's who I'm after, and I don't have the power to do that. I just have the lawsuit, and I have an in for the FBI to come in and take over this if Trump hasn't already done all this stuff. So anyway, that's why I keep getting back to the lawsuit, because it leads to some big shit. So after that, okay, so that's August 10th. That video is taken down, and then the next day it's Anne Heche, and I think that's related. That's NBC Universal, that's The Ellen Show, that's Tobacco Swamp for sure, 100%, and possibly Infantophiles. Okay, and I didn't notice this until recently, this connection. So then, during this time, I'm having fits at YouTube for suspending that account on my Twitter account. So I'm using my H. Nicole Young 3 Twitter account to go and troll the YouTube Twitter account and calling them complicit in these murders and you fucking whatever. I don't know what I forget because I don't have it. So then now not only YouTube suspends my account, they didn't take it down completely like Twitter here. Twitter takes it down completely, and look what they say. They don't say because you're calling us gay Nazi buttfuckers or you're accusing us of murder or any other thing. The excuse they use is this: your account H. Nicole Young 3 has been suspended for violating the Twitter rules. You're violating our rules against evading permanent suspension? You know what they're talking about? I'll show you what they're talking about. This is the only Twitter account I had for 8 years, and it's all I used. Or maybe one more called they're all called H. Nicole Young, first of all, so I'm not trying to be anonymous. It's just H. Nicole Young 11. You're allowed to have 2 accounts, but they're saying I'm evading permanent suspension. The only time they permanently suspended me was in 2014. They suspended my very first Twitter account called H. Nicole Young with the underlines, and it was over Tobacco Swamp stuff. But they didn't say it was. They just when I nailed them on it, they were going, oh no, it was some kind of somebody invaded your account. What's that called? It was a breach and it was hacked. Your account was hacked, so that's why it was taken down. They didn't say it was a permanent suspension. They didn't say anything like that in writing. It was obviously more this shit where they're targeting me because somebody wanted them to. So I sued them, and here it was. This is what they're talking about. And I actually sued them on May 1st, almost a year later, 2015. It's called Young versus Twitter. And I sue them, and they're mealy mouthed. They don't say that it was suspended for breaking the rules, because I said that's defamation if you said I'm suspended for breaking the rules. They go, oh, no, you're just suspended for being... They changed their mind. It's still defamation because you go and it says you're suspended. So, and whatever. Okay, that's been... Last time I went over here, I couldn't find this, and now, because I mentioned it like a week ago, now you can find this online. And actually, I downloaded all the documents, the whole docket. I couldn't believe it, because I lost it. I keep getting arrested. Like I was arrested last time I was arrested. I lose all this paperwork. So paperwork is just, I don't have it, and I didn't have it on my computer. But thank you. It was called it was something online, and I just joined for free 2 week. Anyway, you can go online, search, you get Nicole Young versus Twitter, and the actual filed stamp and the whole docket is there. And I downloaded the whole thing, and then I quit my. You have like a 2 week free trial, and I said thank you. I can't afford $35 a month. You've been great. I got everything I needed, and I'll when I'm rich, I'll reapply to you. But thank you. I don't know who they were. I forgot already. But thank you, because it's been up since the last 2 weeks. Everything's there now. So thanks. But that's what they're talking about. So Twitter needs to be asked, what are you talking about? I'm evading being permanently suspended. Are you saying you permanently suspended my account in 2014? I mean, you need to tell me that now, because that's not what you were saying in this lawsuit. Okay. No, okay. Is this one? Oh, no, okay. Let's do this. All right, so we had N, we had your Twitter, we had this, and then, and there's Twitch I mentioned, all at that same time. Twitch close to, they're back into murdering people here. And then here's the thing that I said. I did 2 videos. One of them, I showed you one of them. The restraining order is a fake. Oh, this is the one where I said they're killing Kobe. I said this is the same people also killed Kobe 3 years earlier, because he had been on the Kelly Clarkson show and was doing a kids book, which seems to be the pattern, or whatever, promoting kids book too. I think that's very infantophile-ish, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, baby girl. I love kids books, and you've done some before, but it's starting to get a tinge of infantophile baby shit when they have these people coming on doing kids books. I don't know. Feels funny to me. I'm just glad you're out of there. Just because of the recent one that came up with Scott Hoying. Anyway, let's just go on. I'm just showing you what I said. I said there were. I posted on December 23rd 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there was 10 of them. Whatever. I posted them all on the 23rd, and then within hours the account was suspended again. And it was this one. There is no restraining order, or there is a fake restraining order. And I talked about Twitch being murdered. I talked about Ellen being murdered. I talked about everybody being murdered, and Kobe being murdered. Yeah, I mentioned them all in that one. Anyway, okay, let's just go on. And then there's the suspension on the 23rd. Your video, there is no restraining order, or there's a fake restraining order, which also was like, you know. It was. I also had evidence in there that there was no restraining order. It was a fake restraining order, which would have been nice when I was in jail if this were up. But YouTube, I'll show you. So I was 2 strikes, and then no. No. I don't want to show you all my files. Who knows what's there? Anyway, let's do Gmail. $117. Okay, this I forgot to put up. Sorry guys, but not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So then I did the one on the 16th. Okay, so I was suspended for the one on the 23rd. Said you're suspended for 2 weeks. So then on the 16th I repost it, and then this comes on the 17th, the next day at 1:21 a.m. It's pretty much hours afterwards. We had reviewed your content and found severe repeated violations of your community guidelines. Because of this, we have removed your channel from YouTube. That's Tuesday, January 17th. So a week later, 2 days later, there is a hearing that I never even attended. That's the one where I'm contesting that Kelly. So they take this down, and then conveniently 2 days later, there's a hearing where they're saying all this shit about me, where this is contesting that. Like it's saying I'm not being served. It's a fake restraining order. They know where I am and they haven't served me properly. It's blah blah blah. All this is all over my YouTube channel and everywhere I am. And they're like, and then Kelly's calling in on that one. So 2 days later is a January 19th hearing where a permanent 5-year restraining order is ordered illegally against me, and then 2 days after that, or by a few days after that, I'm arrested. So anyway, blah 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 blah. Bye. Where am I? And then a year later, October 28th, after I'm in jail, I got out of jail. There's other stuff that happened, but I just wanted to put Matthew Perry because had he followed what I said, which I believe he may have, because he did fire his tranny trainer who murdered him. The tranny, I forget her name, but there was a trans. Well, it's just a tranny, which is a gay dude who transitions to a woman. I can't even stand doing the trans woman, trans man shit anymore. Tranny fucking assholes. Okay? The woman who transitions to a man is not a tranny. It's a fucking tranny, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's a gay guy who pretends he's a woman. Period. Okay? So, Matthew Perry had a fucking tranny, and I'm not going to change that anymore because I've just had it with this fucking, you can't say this and you can't use that, and now we're all confused. Okay? He had a trainer who was a tranny that he fired, and she came back and he came back and murdered. He's the one that murdered Matthew Perry. So maybe he did follow my advice and say, get the trannies away from you, but he still ended up getting murdered. So by that one, God, that's what I'm saying, guys. That didn't protect him, no matter what I say, because there's a whole structure in place that needs to come down. Like he would have been found guilty if that structure were taken down. He wouldn't have even tried it if that structure were taken down. He knew he could do it and get away with it, and all this shit. And that's the whole structure has to come down. You have to go to Trump. I mean, that's the best protection. Not even go to Trump, but like help it along. Help my lawsuit along, because my lawsuit isn't trying to get money from Google. I don't give a damn. Google needs to give up where this shit was coming from. Google needs to give up the person who got it from the person who got it from Adam Schiff, who got it from Altria. Okay? That's what needs to happen in the lawsuit. So you either help me pursue the lawsuit, you help Trump take down the 16th Amendment, which is the same thing. He can't take down the 16th Amendment as long as Adam Schiff is in power or has the power from Altria, blah, 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 on and on. It's just this big, it's just goes on and on. There's so many things you can do. Or find out if your 9-year-old, if your son is through puberty, it's already done. But from 0 to 10, you might be able to get a doctor to find out if he's been molested. Find out who did it if you can. Or if the doctor says no, go to another doctor and another doctor until you find one who says he has been. Because 99, there is no way you're a celebrity and your son was not sexually molested as a child. There is no way that has happened in this day and age. Okay? So find out and then sue every doctor that said there wasn't any. Or sue whatever. If the doctor, and don't bring him to any place that has any male nurses, because you bring him in to get examined and they'll do this. There's some places on Reddit where they say, I brought my son in and the fucking male nurse forcibly retracted my son's penis right there. He's like a 6-year-old. I mean, it's just like, I know. Okay, anyway, so just don't, I just start suing people who are lying about whether the boy was molested, and then start supporting people who are going to help them psychologically to get through it if they have to, or maybe the best thing is to ignore it, but you have to be, we don't want to go in the other direction and drive some kids who are already stable over in the other direction because something happened to them. But if they were babies and they had their little bloodied, hurt, painful penises sucked, their subconscious knows it and it's affecting them, and that shit needs to get resolved nationwide. All right? Okay. I think that's it. So that's that. I'm done with this part of it. So, okay. So, second half. Now, we are going to fast forward 2 years from this. Okay? We're almost done, but we're actually almost done, you guys. That's not too bad. Actually, it's not going to be 3 hours. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. So, we're going to fast forward 2 years to October of 2025. And celebrity gay couple Scott Hoying from Pentatonics and Mark Magno, now he calls himself Mark Hoying, announce on the Kelly Clarkson Show that they are having a baby through surrogacy. The Earth... Okay, before I do this, let's do this. I had the video somewhere, but it's okay. They come on, and it's another kid's book. I think they're both gay, but I think this whole segment is very infantophile, at least pedophile, baby girl. I mean, okay, so they come on, they announce, they have a little baby book. He's Filipino, is the redheaded, blue-eyed lead singer of Pentatonics. Great. So they have a little kid's book, and it's just, I want to love the innocence of it. I want to love kids' books, but anytime your show has a kids' books, I'm now thinking just infantophile behind this. Like, I just don't even think of the kids who are being molested somehow from being attracted to these books and then being molested, that whatever. I don't know. But in another move that's pretty pedophilia-ish, baby girl, pretty infantophile-ish, I thought. Is poor Yako is made to be... So you have this brilliant idea, which is having little baby onesies that on the back say, if it's not great, fix it. If it's not great, fix it. Yeah. I hope you're having a great day. And if it's not great, fix it. Meaning if the diaper is full, fix it. And it's hilarious. But then your damn infantophiles on the show they always have to put their jizz all over everything. They hijack everything, put their jizz all over it, and any chance to get poor Jocko in one of these things and showing his rear end to the camera. It was fun. If it's not great, change it. That's it. Duh. If it's not great, change it. Which is funny. So, of course, you take something that's funny and cute, and then they have to hijack it and turn it into an infantophilia and pedophilia shit going on, where you have to see... Like, I don't want to... I do... I mean, it's cute, but you could tell it was... Just say no to the fucking butt fuckers, baby girl. And you can't... And now it's like you can't. Nobody there can, obviously. You just have to just get the hell out of there. It's just too swampy. When this came on, and then they replayed it Christmas Day or the day after or something. I said, are you fucking kidding me? So one thing I wanted to note here that's interesting is that the slated guests, the Hoyings aren't listed. That was a last minute thing. They were put in at the last minute by gay Nazi infantophiles to announce this baby coming. Okay? And is that everything? Okay, yeah, that's everything. Okay. And you always have a lot of... I try to see if you have pharmaceutical swamp going on, and that was pharmaceutical. You're doing God's work. And then you also mentioned at the end of this segment, quite poignantly, is that, I hope we can get your baby on set here. I don't think we're allowed to have a baby on the set here, so let's work at having it easier to have your little baby come and visit me. And you said that to the camera, and I didn't think much of it, but now I'm thinking everything of it. Believe me. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. So fast forward, and that's what happens. They come on October 17th, I believe, and they're not announced. That was the last minute thing. So they were put on very quickly to announce the baby. The Earth shifts on its axis from the amount of jizz that the Ellen Show, and the Kelly Clarkson Show, gay Nazi infantophiles at NBC Universal spew, thinking about the little surrogate celebrity male infant that they could molest, in which sperm cells from red-headed, blue-eyed Mark Hoying and egg cells from a rare red-headed, blue-eyed Filipino egg donor could be manipulated to produce a red-headed, blue-eyed celebrity infant male, parentheses, the crown jewel of all gay Nazi infantophiles dating back millennia. Okay. with the added bonus of the red-headed, blue-eyed male infant being half Filipino to entice a slew of wealthy Asian gay Nazi infantophiles. There aren't a lot of them because the Asians got rid of the gay gene a long time ago when they were doing these. Anyway, we'll go through that later. There aren't a lot, but it doesn't take a lot. There are a few, and there's also some non-Asian ones that go to Asia to because they like Asians. So there are, just because they're Asian, there could be gay infantophiles who have a bit of an Asian thing with them. But they would participate for sure in the bidding war over first access to this baby. It's a bragging rights thing to have first access, to be the first to do on the day they're born or soon after, be the first to do the forcible retraction of their foreskin, the first little blood that they make. And then there's other blood afterwards, but yeah. Possibly reaching upwards of 100 million, I am sure. I mean, you have these freaking billionaires and they're all fucking infantophiles because they have drive. That's why they get all that money, is so they could do this, have access to anybody they want. It's kind of Epstein Island is like this, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, this is what Epstein Island's all about, people, including their ability to manipulate gametes and manipulate embryos now. So the super dark-eyed gamete is very difficult to turn into to produce a blue eye, but they have them, and they could do some things. They can't do all diseases, but they could do hair color a little bit, and they could do blue-eyed. And just so everybody knows, if you're trying to do singing, if you manipulate the hair or the eyes or anything else that's just a physical characteristic, that is very gay, by the way. They're very superficial. They like the blue eye and the hair, and all superficial shit is all gay shit. Most people don't want that. They're not into it, but they have all the money, and that's what they want. If that's the little baby dick they want to suck, they're going to go for it, and they're going to pay billions in research on that little island it's the U.S. Virgin Islands, which is like Puerto Rico and it's like Guam, and I've already told you we can't have that. It's a Congress-run fucking little Epstein Island is Congress-run and illegal like Puerto Rico, and there's a lot of shit going on there like this stuff, but they could do it. It's just you can't do it and get government grants for it. But who needs the government grants when you have billionaires paying for this shit? So that these gay guys, these gay infantophiles can get the baby they want with. So anyway, it's doable. It's tough, and in some cases almost impossible. Like a blackstock sperm, it's really hard for a blackstock sperm, even like Shelby Blackstock, to produce a blue-eyed child, if not impossible. So keep that in mind. I already reported that in that 1 4-hour video that I hope nobody got except my boo, whom I hope looks at these things now and sped up time. So I think you recently just discovered that. You said you could watch these videos with the audio at twice the speed. Twice the speed is a little bit tough. And I really highly recommend my Dred Scott one, the 1 hour, an hour and a half one. I highly recommend at regular speed, if not slow speed, because there's a lot of shit in there that I cover that you need to even stop and try to understand. Try everything you can to understand that video and pay a lawyer to explain it to you, whatever it is. That's the most important one. Okay, let's go on. So the Earth shifts on its axis because everybody's excited about this, right? Okay. And we're talking 100 million easily coming in on access to this kid. Okay, potential kid. By early November 2025, urgent plans to find ways to get around the stringent rules at 30 Rock and New York State as well, that make it almost impossible to get infants on studio sets like Studio 6A, where the Kelly Clarkson show is filmed, fell through. They couldn't do this. They couldn't get through the red tape. Like you already requested it, and it's just not happening. Even with upwards of $100 million in backing from any number of rich infantophiles around the world bidding for access to this red-headed, blue-eyed, half-Filipino celebrity infant, while he and his famous parents might be guests on the Kelly Clarkson show sometime after the baby's birth in June of 2026. So I thought this is okay. This will come up a little bit when I say June. Let's just get on. But it's funny because I predicted it would be April or May. When they're saying they have a baby and it's October, that means the mother had to have gotten pregnant in like at least September, but probably August. Like, why are they announcing this 1 month later? I mean, that's kind of early, even if they're sure and you can do the pregnancy test. Seriously, before she, like, so when I thought that, I thought, well, she got pregnant in August, so the baby's coming in April or May. But later, when they did a gender reveal, they said it's coming in June, which tells me the baby that they announced, this is important, the baby they announced on the air on October is a different baby, and which I obviously say this a little later, but I'm just showing you that it's June when I thought it was April. So anyway, by late November 2025, emergency plans that formulated as early as July of 2025, when Ellen and Portia listed their home in England for sale, emergency plans went into effect to get Ellen back to the U.S. from England and back into her baby molesting lair at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, possibly for a temporary reboot of her talk show, or maybe a short special of some kind that would get this little redheaded, blue-eyed, half-Filipino celeb infant into the old studio in time to be molested. And when I'm saying molested, I'm being nice here. They're trying to do the forceful retraction of the foreskin to cause painful bleeding, so that they can get the adrenochrome, they can get their little sexual satisfaction, they could, whatever it is, their little thing going on. Okay, the pain, so that they get the adrenochrome, and then that they could suck the blood. Ugh. So this is okay. Ellen, molested soon after his birth in June. Ellen and Portia buying and selling property to the tune of tens of millions of dollars to make this sudden move. In other words, they listed their home in England for $30 million in July of 2025 and bought a home in Montecito, California in November of 2025 for $27.5 million. It indicates the level of money being thrown about in bids for access to this highly sought after celebrity infant's penis, possibly reaching upwards of $100 million as described above, especially if wealthy Asian infantophiles became interested in the bidding. Okay, everything seems to be going according to plan until ... On January 24th, 2026, I post a short 3-minute video to YouTube exposing at least 5 redheaded male infants who had been drugged and molested while visiting the Ellen Show from 2015 to 2018. And here is the link. This video torpedoes all infantophile plans to get at the Hoying baby via this route. You're welcome, world. Okay, wait. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh my God. Don't tell me I don't have it here. I'm going to cry. I don't have it? Well, guess what I'm going to do then? Oh, did I really delete that, guys? I thought I had it. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, let's do it here. All right. So I'm sorry, this is why it's going to be hours long, because I'm going to go through the whole thing with you.
Andy, bring out.
It's a 3-minute video, and I'm going to do the whole thing. But before I do it, I'm going to read what I put here as well in the comments. Okay, this was posted January 24th. The Ellen Show had 3 tobacco-supported, closeted gay, redheaded infantophile producers, all named Andy. Andy Lesnar, Andy Zenor, I'm not sure, and Andy Shaw. When the Ellen Show imploded from so many pedophiles and infantophiles causing problems, the 3 infantophile producer Andys tried to start up their own pedo-infanto ring with valiant attempts to reproduce pedophile infantophile parent traps they had set up so successfully on the Ellen Show, like the old Let the closeted gay infantophile professor hold your baby during class while you take notes so he can suck your infant's little baby dick while you run and get coffee during break. Now, why is this comment allowed to stay up and yet the stuff I'm reading right now is taken down? Is this because it's a short? So anyway, I have links that show this kind of this thing that Andy Shaw set up actually. He's the one who kind of, he does this little parent trap where they can get the baby on the Ellen Show. When that plan fell through, Andy Lassner and Andy Shaw went back to their old tricks of sucking little baby dicks of celeb babies and the babies of fellow co-workers at NBC Universal, preferably the redheaded babies, of course. Andy Lassner now sucks baby dicks through the connections at the Jennifer Hudson Show, and Andy Shaw now sucks baby dicks through his connections at the Kelly Clarkson Show. So, boy, I was harsh here. Andy Zenor hit the jackpot and now sucks a constant stream of little baby dicks available to him as an executive at a kid-focused software company called Scratch. Wow, I didn't know I'd forgotten I had used the term baby dick sucker. Damn. Well, I mean, I think it was very effective because it did a lot of shit. But here, let's just go through the video.
Oliver.
Okay, this is a little loud for my roommates. So that's one of the Andys right there. He's redheaded, and he had a little infant boy. So that kid, I don't know.
Andy, bring out.
So I'm going to read. Closeted gay, redheaded producer Andy Zenor. Closeted gay, redheaded producer Andy Zenor's redheaded baby Oliver, 2 months old, on October 2/15 show, The Ellen Show.
Oliver.
2-month-old infant. He's probably redheaded and blue-eyed because his dad is.
All right. That's a good one.
He's drugged and traumatized.
He just ate, I think, right? Should I do this?
So he's drugged and traumatized here, and listen to what Ellen says.
Is that a bad idea? Right before. I think probably. He really is good. I was holding him earlier and it wasn't as good as it. Is it 2 minutes yet? Or no?
So I was holding him earlier, and he wasn't as good. Guess what happened? He had just had his little penis was just forcible retraction of his foreskin had just occurred. They drugged him, and then they did it, but he still cried, and they sucked the little blood, little 2-month-old baby. They must have gotten millions to do for somebody. He must have farmed it out to somebody else. He's 2 months old. He's not as famous though as some other celebs, but still, yeah, that was the first one, and you can tell he's drugged here. And Ellen's like, I don't know, he was crying up a storm before because he had just been abused, and they drug him up and shut him up and try to get him. So they don't want to drug him up too much beforehand because then you don't get the adrenochrome effect. They really want the kid to be in pain very quickly, and then as soon as they suck the blood away, very quickly give him a drug. But still, that's when she had him, even after he got the drug immediately after. I don't know, I'm guessing what they do, but believe me, they've been doing this shit for millennia, and they know how to do it quickly, and they know how to do it effectively without being detected. But she just said it. He was crying a lot earlier, and now he's really calm, and he looks...
Please welcome 7-month-old Theo and his mom, Adriana. First
He
of all,
looks-
50 million views. Did you have any idea it would get to that point?
So you can't see it here as clearly, but he's redheaded, long redheaded locks. It's a boy. And March of 2017 was when Andy Shaw joined the Ellen Show, and this is the first thing he brought. This is what gave him immortality for all the infantophiles. He's the big infantophile pimp. The first one was the son of one of them, but this is when Andy Shaw joined, and what gave him the job permanently forever, even at the Kelly Clarkson Show, is he got this kid off of the YouTube and brought him to Ellen. It's the first one he brought through the YouTube. What'd you say, 3,000 hits or something? He's the one who fabricated all that shit.
None. I mean, this is insane. Those little fuzzy baby brushes do not work, so I use my brush, or I bought that one with the little bristles. Yeah, it works. It helps detangle a little bit. Hello. Say hi.
Drugged. Producer knew it. Watch.
So, okay. Hey, Jeannie, bring him in.
When they did a close-up on him, it was like, he looked drugged. And then they didn't do any more close-ups after that. I had more footage, and I couldn't find one where it was close-up after that one. So here's baby Emmett in September. This was another one. It was the one.
I want to hold Emmett.
It was the one with the professor holds the baby, and there's like a whole bunch. Go all over the internet, and you'll see the professor holds the baby while the mother or the father or whatever do their work, and it's like, that's infantophile shit.
You hold him during class. I'll hold him during the show. Going downhill. I just recently became a single mom.
Okay, that wasn't me skipping that. Did you see that? His little head, he kind of twerked there. Look at this. This kid twerks. His little head, he's tweaking out. He's on drugs. All of these babies who are coming out right now had already had their foreskin forcibly retracted and bled, and their little baby penises sucked, and then they're drugged right now. So they're traumatized and drugged.
You hold him during class. I'll hold him during the show. Going downhill. I just recently became a single mom. What? You want some water? You thirsty?
Watch
No,
this.
you want the flowers? You're just pointing, saying they're pretty. Pretty kids. Stick to his schedule. He doesn't really know what he wants. He's my best friend.
Watch this.
Oh.
Look at the
I
close-up.
want a baby.
He's so drugged, but wait. There's a close-up.
Let's just stay like this for a minute. I don't have any more questions.
There it is. He's like completely drugged there. Look at that.
And my friends at Cheerios, and I want to give you a check for $10,000.
Oh my God. So later, there was like, I don't know, 20 hours of Media Swamp Stock, Music of the Night, Media Swamp Stock tutorials that I'm going to go through. And I'm going to say lately, I have identified Cheerios as a family, specifically a family court swamp, which is General Mills, and it started with this. I did a lot of stuff where I'd find something that has infantophile stuff, but this is where the Cheerios, you're saying why, and you should see it, it's tanking. So the good news is there's some specific family court, infantophile, pedophile, swamp. They're all kind of the same stocks now. I used to identify them as religion swamp stocks because they're tightly associated with religion swamp stocks, which are now anyway. So this is, I just forgot to mention that. This is very critical here where they bring in a big check for $10,000 from Cheerios. Look. And it's Andy Shaw, I think, who brings it. Or Andy. Okay. Fourth baby. Little redheaded. They're all redheaded and blue-eyed.
There's a child in there. Hi. Uh-oh. They'll be back. Don't cry. Let's have the mommy or daddy come out just so he doesn't. What are you having? Some peas and some mashed potatoes? That looks delicious. So if it's messy...
He's traumatized.
Hi, Dad. Tell me about it, Simon. Well, you must have witnessed some horrible things. That is true. Eli?
I mean, that wasn't, he was talking about something else, but it's just so telling. The kid was really, he might have witnessed some really shit. Anyway, baby Eli.
Bowling. He enjoys drooling and napping. And we send him back. Oh, he's very disappointed. He's so unhappy that he only knows. That's all right. All right. Andy?
Okay, so that's that video. And that's what I read. Okay, so let's get on. I'm almost done, actually. Let's get on. So that's posted on January 24th. That was good. I'd forgotten what I wrote there. Okay. Onward, Christian soldiers. By the way, baby girl, I usually do Nicolaiokis for you too for these gifts, and I haven't done them for a long time. So this would be October by Alyssa Cara. I need to do that. pretty soon. I need to do a few, but I love that October. I'm gonna miss you when it's over, something like that. I hope I never see October. Whatever. It hasn't played at work for a long time though. This video torpedoes all infantophile plans to get at the Hoying baby via this route, via bringing Ellen back for whatever purposes from England. So better believe there are several babies being produced by several surrogates with the sperm of Scott Hoying and one or more specially selected egg donors. However, once the $100 million reboot of The Ellen Show had been scrapped by my video short and Your Welcome World, the red-headed, blue-eyed, half-Filipino Hoying boy, one of several attempted, probably, I'm guessing they're doing a lot of them, that was slated to be delivered to the Hoyings as their child after his birth in June of 2026, is now secretly going elsewhere in the world to be molested and likely sacrificed afterward. While they can't, if they don't go to the celebrity and they are molested in a way, I think they really have to be murdered, because that's really risky nowadays with all the DNA testing to actually try to raise a child, even in the middle of China or on the other end of the planet. To try to raise a young child, unless they're trying to raise him until he can produce sperm himself and then they sacrifice him. But it's just very risky and very expensive, and it would be very risky to do that. So I believe if they're doing this, and I think part of the sacrifice, I'm just throwing spaghetti against the wall, people. I have no idea, but I think I'm probably pretty close to right on this, all of this. And I'm giving ideas to my crowdsourcing rules people, because this is like, obviously, when I have a video, and it was called Crossing Delancey, and it was on my top 66 rom-com list, and I have the video where it's 1988 and they're still saying, oh, the little baby, you might think that they perceive and experience pain. It's not pain, he's just cold. And they're serious about this. Like, this is 1988? Are you fucking, like, that is so indicative of how the gay Nazi propaganda has just ruled the world for millennia. If you are saying, and it was only until the year 2000 that people started to say, oh yeah, maybe we should use anesthesia or local anesthetics or something when we circumcise. Before then, they were thinking there's no pain. Are you kidding me? The first step, as I said, was forcible retraction of the foreskin is the first step before you circumcise. And that, everybody knows that's painful. And then the circumcision is painful. So I don't know what, unless these rabbis are so stupid because the baby has already had the foreskin forcibly retracted before the circumcision, so they don't think that, I don't know, it's just, oh God. So that was taken off my list. I said no, because I have nothing to do with infantophobia. With anything. Infantophobia, it's got to be off the top 66 list, and I loved it. It was a fantastic romantic comedy. Other than that, it didn't have anything else in it. Infantophobia, at first I put it on there because it had the bris, and I thought it was very educational, that it was all the elder women running the whole thing, because the men don't want it, and that's the same, and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to end circumcision, first of all, but we're going to also end forcible retraction of the foreskin. Anyway, okay, so it's very painful. Why am I on here? One of several attempted that was slated is now secretly going elsewhere in the world to be molested and likely sacrificed afterward, while one of the failed pregnancies, for example, one that produced a girl, would be given to the Hoyings instead. There is way too much money at stake to give the Hoyings a red-headed, blue-eyed baby boy who could not be easily accessed and molested by high-paying gay Nazi infantophiles at either the Ellen Show in Burbank or the Kelly Clarkson Show at 30 Rock. So they're saying there's a baby coming, we're going to give it to these Hoyings. Do you guys have, for sure, a way to access this baby if we give you $1 million? And they're saying, no, we can't do it at the Kelly Clarkson Show. They're really strict on the babies there, and she's onto this baby shit. And then we got this piece of they're gonna murder me over this probably, who just blew up the Ellen Show thing we were doing. So we're taking that boy and getting 25 million for him instead of whatever, and then we're gonna send them the girl. There's evidence for this in that the boy was conceived probably in possibly in July or August, and that's why you have all this stuff. You have Ellen and them planning on this ahead of time. Like, they've been brewing this shit for a long time, they've probably been trying for a couple of years possibly, but they finally got one that Tess show is going to be blue-eyed and redheaded and a boy, and they found all that, and then all of a sudden, boom, Ellen's coming, boom, blah, 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 they're on the Kelly Clarkson show, everything's going in place, and then, nope, and he was going to be born, he probably is right now, somewhere else. That kid is being sacrificed somewhere else, and there's nothing we could do about it, you guys. There's nothing. FBI, get in on it, whatever. I don't know what. I'm sure they already are. Trump knows better than anybody. You can't stop any of this shit. I mean, he did it for Epstein Island. He stopped it, I think, or whatever. Yeah, of course he did, because I'll tell you why. There's evidence that shit was stopped, because I'll show that later in my longer interview. But I'm just saying, that kid's there, and then after my video, they said, nope, you're not getting the boy. They sent him out elsewhere for 25 million, and then are giving these guys the girl because because the girl is worthless to them. That was a mistake. It should have been a boy. The Hoyings as her child. Oh, maybe not. If she's redheaded, maybe when she's older, her eggs and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, I don't think by then, I think this shit's going to be all exposed. They're not going to be in charge of the eggs and all this anymore after a few more years. Hold on, everybody, hang in there. Anyway, that was slated to be delivered as their child after his birth, is now secretly going elsewhere in the world to be molested and likely sacrificed afterward, while one of the failed pregnancies, for example, one that produced a girl, would be given to the Hoyings instead. There is way too much money at stake to give the Hoyings a red-headed, blue-eyed baby boy who could not be easily accessed and molested by high-paying gay Nazi infantophiles at either the Ellen Show in Burbank or the Kelly Clarkson Show at 30 Rock. Better to get $25 million up front for the whole baby to be sold to some rich infantophile who would do his molesting somewhere private and sacrifice the baby afterward in a secret ritual, than risk getting zero because access to a baby boy who has been given over to the Hoyings might be unattainable. No matter how much more desirable it is, for instance, in bragging rights, etc., to the tune of $100 million in value, to molest the known living infant of a celebrity who may himself grow up to be a future star. A lot of times they'll molest the baby. They did this for Stranger Things. That little kid, what's his name? Noah Shap, whatever. He's Jewish. He was flown to Israel for his bar mitzvah. He was absolutely turned gay. I'm pretty sure. That little boy is so Jewish that his parents did the whole blood-sucking thing, where he probably was absolutely molested on day one and then re-molested and then circumcised and sucked and everything, and that turned him gay. And that was some high-powered shit going on even when he was born. But to add to this, you have to add prestige to it, so they put a lot of money into making him famous. So now when that little molestation happened, there were some powerful people behind that molestation that also was behind putting him in and making him famous. So a lot of times they could be famous and then they go after him, or they could be not so famous but then made famous after the person has done the molestation on them. Very powerful infantophiles. Both of these things happen. They'll give and then another thing they'll do is they'll to have access, they'll give Reba all sorts of access because they're thinking that her son and his wife are about ready to have a manipulated baby so that he comes out red hair and blue eyed. But they found out through all this that even Shelby's sperm can't make blue eyes. That's how they found out, and that's how they ended up killing Brandon, because he lied about Remy's Okay, let's just go on. So a lot of shit going on, but you're going, why is Reba getting all this stuff at NBC and special treatment here and special treatment there? She's a fantastic person, by the way. I'm nothing against her, but there was definitely some, an infant might be coming. So let's get her on set to get the baby on set at The Voice, get the baby on set at her show. So let's keep renewing this stuff because they needed a set at NBC Universal that was going to have her little grandchild, come on set. If it's a little boy, probably, because they don't have any control. Their sperm and eggs are outside the body now, so good luck. I mean, they will be, it's going to be the same thing as with the Hoyings. They will mix little babies, and the one that comes out red and blue-eyed and whatever goes to elsewhere. And right now they're so desperate for money, they're going to make them all boys, and they're going to sell them elsewhere. Because they're not going to give any of them, maybe, to these guys. It's going to be a girl, probably, but because they need the eggs. They need the eggs for other stuff, other than even making... Anyway, I don't know. We'll see. I hope she can get pregnant. We'll see. But that shit is... Anyway, I already talked about this in my last video. The follow-up from my video results in several critical events in the following days. Some good and some bad. On January 25th, 2026, the next day, Ellen and Portia silently or very low-key withdraw the listing of their home in England and backpedal on stories of moving back to the U.S. Now it's like, we're halfway, we're not permanent. It's like everything all of a sudden happened, and we never hear about it again. On January 29th, Scott and Mark Hoying announce on social media that they are getting a baby girl. That was news to a lot of people when that happened, and not a baby boy, as many infantophiles and gamete brokers had planned. That was news that week as well after my video, because I blew a big hole in their fucking plans. From January 29th to the 31st in 2026, wealthy infantophiles who eagerly anticipated bidding on access to a red-headed, blue-eyed, possibly half Filipino celeb Hoying boy, they get super pissed and decide that they'd had enough of being lied to about the potential of red-headed, blue-eyed infant male celebs becoming available. For instance, first, Kelly Clarkson eggs and Shelby Blackstock sperm were sold for top dollar on the black market in the early 2020s, with the promise these gametes could be manipulated to produce a red-headed, blue-eyed biological grandson of Reba McEntire and son of Kelly Clarkson. It's like double royalty, which turned out to be false. You can't use Blackstock sperm to produce blue eyes. It's impossible. So Brandon Blackstock, the asshole broker of Kelly Clarkson eggs, who never seemed to get enough money to cover his NFL gambling debts, was eventually murdered over that lie a few years later in August of 2025. August of 2025. Okay? Second, wealthy infantophiles had also been told by Savannah Guthrie. Oh, I don't have this picture. Oh, okay. I don't have this picture, you guys. I have it, but it's buried somewhere. It's like months away. Not months, but it's way back in a million screenshots. I'm not going to find this right now. I didn't prepare for this one. I'm sorry, guys, but you will find this photo shoot I'm talking about. Wealthy infantophiles had also been told that Savannah, what am I doing? That Savannah Guthrie eggs and Michael Feldman, her husband, sperm, which were also available on the black market, though for much less than the Kelly Clarkson Shelby Blackstock gametes, could be manipulated to produce red-headed, blue-eyed infant biological sons of Savannah Guthrie. Another lie that was perpetuated by photoshopped pictures from a photo shoot at People magazine from 2016, where Savannah Guthrie, I think it was 2017, where Savannah Guthrie, Michael Feldman, and their two young toddlers were all shown to have distinctive red hair and blue eyes on a white background. It was really striking. They really looked like a total red-headed, blue-eyed family, and that was done on purpose. Probably not by these guys, but. And finally, there's this latest BS with the non-existent red-headed, blue-eyed, half-Filipino celebrity male infant of Scott and Mark Hoying. So they had enough after that announcement from Scott and Mark. They, in the early morning on February 1st, 2026, the butt-fucking pieces of gay Nazi asshole infantophile swamp shit at NBC Universal, The Ellen Show, The Kelly Clarkson Show, who are associated with all the celeb murderers mentioned above, and who are also associated with the gay Nazi infantophile, pedophile, family court swamp assholes in Hollywood like Harvey Levin at TMZ, decide to get revenge on the lying celeb gamete embryo brokers and possibly even get their $1 million down payment back or their full $10 million payment back, depending on how far along in the process they were. I'm saying the Kelly Clarkson eggs and sperm and all that was upward of maybe 50 to 100 million for that. And then I'm going to say that the Guthrie was probably more in the 10 to 20 million dollar range, whatever it is. It's not quite as much, but still, I'm just saying it's huge bucks for this shit. Because it's not just the eggs and the sperm, that's part of it, and you have to really have access and you have to have a lot of money to do that, but it's all the, the science that's behind it. They have to have they have labs like this in Minnesota, and they used to have it on Epstein Island, and now possibly in China, but I don't think so. I think a lot of this, they're starting to, it's getting exposed. Like all that, remember all the childcare fraud stuff? All that money was going toward these little farms that did this stuff mostly, because there's huge money in this. Because the ones behind it have this strong urge that I'm telling you about. It's really like, and one of them can suck thousands of can molest thousands of baby boys in a day, you know? I mean, it could happen so quickly. So it's not like we have a whole bunch of these. You just need a couple of them, and they're so motivated that they become very rich just to be able to buy this kind of access to fuel their, unsatiable urges, It's just sick. It's going to go away because it's getting harder and harder to have access, and then people are going to be, anyway, on and on. So that's what the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie was. It's all about that, because she has a redheaded, blue-eyed husband. And it's just like before when I said, if there's a shooting, I look online to see who is gay, because they're involved. Now, when there's shit going on, I'm looking who is redheaded and blue-eyed. And as soon as I saw that, I said, well, that's what this shit is. It's like, this is what this shit is. Her husband, Feldman, too, he's Jewish, redheaded, blue-eyed. Are you fucking kidding me? You fucking kidding me? They're going to molest anyway. Okay, and then their kids had their kids have been told, their son has been completely molested, for sure. And if he's not gay, he's definitely gonna have problems because he's been molested a lot. I'm sorry to say this to you, Guthrie. There's nothing I could do to stop it, even going forward, you guys. But there's nothing you can do. Just educate people, but you can't educate it. Like, for instance, let's do a for instance. Well, let me finish this and then I'll do that for instance. Okay, on February 2nd, 2026, I posted "Do not poo-poo this level" security alert advising Kelly Clarkson that the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping was a major security breach for her, especially given the inability of NBC Universal and or the Kelly Clarkson Show security to keep the likes of baby pimp Andy Shaw from being anywhere near her or her family, despite years of me requesting this for other reasons. Not that this would be any minor feat, since it would require the entire powerful gay Nazi infantophile support structure at NBC Universal, Comcast, Warner Brothers Studios to collapse first. You can't just... A few hours later, Kelly Clarkson officially announces that she is ending the show and not returning for another season. Smart move, baby girl. Fucking gay Nazi buttfuckers and the gay Nazi infantophiles who paid them for access to infant penises. It's worse than vampires to stop. I suspect most of the gay Nazis who do shit just to be able to have control over non-adult, non-gay males don't even know they're doing bidding a lot of times for the infantophiles. They just the infantophiles have their own army of gay Nazis that they know how to control with, either cigarette cartons, of course, but also sex and whatever. They're not. So this is a huge. There's a lot more. There's fewer infantophiles and there's fewer gay Nazis than regular gays, and fewer regular gays than non-gay domestic but it's still they're still able to control a lot because of the urges they have. Bottom line, I could keep sending out do not poo-poo the security alerts to celebs best as I can going forward, trying to spot possible patterns of lies, corruption, and violence by gay Nazis and gay Nazi infantophiles. There's a difference between those two guys. While throwing spaghetti against the wall. But the only way to get rid of gay Nazis and gay Nazi infantophiles safely, along with all the lies, corruption, and violence that comes with them, is to support Donald Trump in his efforts to take down the 16th Amendment, which will cut off a millennia-old money source for the gay Nazis and the gay Nazi infantophiles, and cause their millennia-old power structures to implode and collapse permanently. Something that is already starting to happen for the first time in human history, fighting them head-on before permanently cutting off their money supply. For example, trying to remove baby pimp Andy Shaw from the Kelly Clarkson Show before the entire gay Nazi and gay Nazi infantophile infrastructure at NBC, Universal, Comcast, Warner Brothers Studios collapses, is dangerous and futile, at least over the next couple of years. I'm just glad you are clearing out of there, boo, no matter how you got to that decision in the first place. Okay, so I don't know what I was going to do over here. Oh, I'm going to play the whole thing. Let's play it. I don't think I put any notes here. Let's just play this. Hello, it is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. This is a do not poo-poo this level security alert for my crowdsourcing rules peeps, and it's involving the Savannah Guthrie's mother. Nancy reported missing since, I believe, Saturday afternoon. I'm just going to throw spaghetti against the wall. I believe this is related to what I call gay Nazi buttfuckers at NBC, who are trying to replace the female talk show hosts who aren't bashing Trump enough with people who will bash Trump enough. I recently told Kelly Clarkson, I said, look, try to stay if you can, as much as you can. This year is going to be important unless you feel that you're not safe. And I think this was a plot to make her feel not safe. They're saying, okay, we're going to start taking the mothers of these hosts. So it's not safe here. That's what I believe is what's going on here. This is an attempt to get these women out. If you remember last year this time, this is what they didn't do this to Hoda. They kind of caught her off guard. I don't think she was ready to leave. They kind of booted her out and made it like she was asking for too much money. But that was gay Nazi buttfuckers booting her out. Because Hoda and Savannah and Kelly just don't bash Trump enough. So they need to get out, and so they booted her, and now they're trying to boot Savannah. I don't think that they can, or I think her contract isn't up. They're trying to boot Kelly, and this is all related to Kelly. So you need to go back to the people surrounding this whole thing. The people at NBC who did this with Hoda, and who's also trying to, like, when they pushed Hoda out, they wanted Matt Rogers in, this gay guy. So he's a swampy kind of... and so is Bowen Yang. So you're going to look for people associated with these guys, and you're also going to look for people associated with Seth Meyers, the gay host, and then the people that they tried to replace Kelly with last week. It's always like a Jewish white woman and a black woman together. So they're trying to team up Amber Ruffin from the Seth Meyers show with Ricky Lake, Jewish white woman, and Chelsea Handler with Greta. So all the people booking these things on the Kelly Clarkson Show, these gay Nazi tobacco swamp buttfuckers behind the scene, they're gonna lead you to what's going on with Savannah. And then also this guy just showed up, Andrew Rannells.
It happened right on the stage or downstairs, but
so this guy's gay, and for some reason he's popping up in my searches for other stuff. He's both connected to Seth Meyers and Ricky Lake, and I don't know. I think they might be trying to get him in. I don't know why he's up here. So we're gonna search these people for what's going on. I think it's all related. I'm gonna get to this later. Bye. I'm gonna get this and post it on the shorts. Bye. Hello, it is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. This is a do not poo-poo this level security alert.
Wait.
For my crowdsourcing rules peeps, and it's involving the Savannah Guthrie. I just said that. Okay, so if I do this, what's gonna happen? Okay, so that's the end. I forgot I was gonna do something else, but I think that's it. Enough. New video coming soon, a couple of them, and happy anniversary. That's it for March. That's it for March, baby girl. I think the worst of it. I have so much to do though about the forcible retraction of the foreskin, and a lot of stuff related going back. So hang in there, baby girl. Hang in there, and it's a good day for a great day. It's still good stuff. It's still good news in a lot of ways because we're going to get there. And onward, Christian soldiers who aren't Christian anymore. And Godspeed to everybody coming out the other side in one piece. That's PEACE and PIEC. Okay, bye.